live. Let's see. Hopefully everybody will get the message that I had to switch things. I'm so sorry. No people yet. We're good people. Hey guys. Hi, how are y'all doing? Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so sorry I had a little bit of like technical difficulty. Please somebody tell me if you can hear me, like give me a thumbs up, give me a yay, yes we can hear you. Just so that I know that you guys are getting all of this. I was having a little bit of technical difficulty trying to get it to work on my laptop with the one that I had previously scheduled. It's fine. We're going to wing it. This is great. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much for joining in. Yay. I'm so glad that you guys can hear it. Thank you so much. Okay. So, I told all of you in my last vlog, and my husband's leaving because he's like helping me with my technical difficulty. So bye. So I told you guys during my last vlog that I was going to have a teacher planner video here for you like today. And yet I did not have a planner video. So, and I have good reasons too. So please y'all, like, I'm so sorry. But anyways, so I broke my tripod and I have a tripod that's coming tomorrow so that I can get that filmed, finish getting it filmed and ready to go. And on top of that, we moved. So I am now in my new house. Y'all, my first floor is a hot mess. Like I have plastic all over my hardwood. We are trying to paint. There are wall issues. It's really bad. Thank you guys so much. Y'all are so sweet. I am very excited. And first time home. Like this is the very first time I've ever like purchased a home. Very exciting. It was crazy. But so our first floor is completely covered with plastic. We have wall issues right now. We've been trying to take things apart. We've been trying to get rid of smells. It's been a whole hot mess of a mess. So, and on top of that, it's my birthday today. And I was really nervous because I was like, man, what if like nobody shows up to my birthday live chat? That would be really crazy. Thank you. So I'm so glad that you guys are here. So I told you guys that instead, thank you. I told you guys that I was going to do this chat so that I can kind of go through, talk to you guys a little bit about planners and planning and my planner, answer some of the questions that you guys have about my planner. How do I go about planning? Any kind of questions that you guys have, I am here to pretty much just answer those for you. So yeah, so you guys can throw them out at me. Currently I'm still keeping my Martha Stewart's ARC system planner that I've been using for what, about 2 years now, I think. At one point I tried to do like the ring binding where I like spiral bound it, and it wasn't my favorite. I like to be able to take things in and out of my planner and be able to remove things and, you know, add things in there and be able to change things. And I am one person that I cannot handle having like a ton of stuff in my planner. Like I already put a bunch of junk in there as it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I cannot handle having the entire year inside of my planner. So I will only use a couple of months at a time. And this allows me to be able to do that. So I can easily take things in and out of this planner, and yeah, it works out great. So are you going to do an open? Okay, so I am doing a little bit of a tour with my vlogs this week. So I'm kind of doing, I didn't film today, which today kind of got away from me because I did absolutely nada today. I didn't do nothing. But I am doing a little bit of a home, like we're redoing stuff. So you guys are going to get to see some of that. I do not use staples to actually print my planner. So this is to kind of prove to you guys, do you remember this cart? This is in my last video. Anyway, so just to prove to you guys that I did like have it all like set up for me to go ahead and film and everything. This is the planner and it's like printed, but because my school printer has like we got like a brand new printer at school, I went on ahead and had it printed at school. So I did not use staples this time because our school printer was so awesome that I was just able to print it at school and it works perfect for me. But I would definitely use staples if you don't trust your printer. Go ahead and use them, and you can always like clip it and then keep it off to the side and only use a little bit as you can. So a little bit at a time. Whoa, these are coming in fast. Any tips for student teaching? I should be starting soon. Oh, bless. Student teaching is a crazy experience. And yes, I have a ton of tips for you. One, always be professional. Be as professional as you can possibly be when you are out there. Pretty much think of it as every single day you're walking into a job interview. Like, you need to be on top of your game all the time. And it is going to be hard, and it is going to be, you're going to cry. I cried a lot. Like, oh, hold on. There it goes. Okay. Woo. Sorry. But I cried a ton during my student teaching, but I promise you, go in there being professional the entire time and try to wow them. Something that I tried to do during my student teaching that I thought was going to be like my big wow factor for my principal was that I was always smiling. Like, you would never ever see me stressed out or with a frown on my face, or you would never see me crying in front of other people. Like, I smiled. Y'all, I will fake it till I make it. Like, no lie. So I got really good when I was a waitress, very young. I got really good at smiling all the time because that's how I made my money. I needed to make sure that I kept a smile on my face so that I could make my money. And so I would walk in there every single day and I would just smile and smile. And then afterwards I would go home and cry. But the big wow factor that I had was that I actually set up a coffee house. So we were doing during that time is I was actually teaching poetry. And I ended up saying, you know what? I know like family involvement is something that's huge with this principal. She really wants to be able to see something like that. So I did a huge coffee house. And so I decorated the entire room like a coffee house. And the kids got to wear a really cool hat. They all had dark sunglasses. I had bagels and coffee out for parents. I invited parents to come out, and so they came out and they got to listen to the kids be able to say their poems, and they all snapped real cool and everything. But she came, I invited her to it, and she loved it. And I think that was kind of the thing that hooked her and got me my job, which I was so excited about. Ed TPA, what is that? I don't even know what that is. Thank you. I'm so glad you like that idea, but I don't know what that is. There's a lot of these. Hold on, y'all. Ooh. I'm sorry, I covered everything. How do you plan each day schedule? Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys an amazing quote, because there is an amazing quote that my partner teacher likes to say, and she likes to say that I can't plan for tomorrow until I know what my students can do today, which is a phenomenal, phenomenal quote. And hey, partner teacher, if you're watching this, but that's exactly what she would say. And there's so much truth to that. You know what I mean? Like, you need to be able to understand exactly where it is that your students are. Now, here's what I would do. Okay. And this is kind of the game plan that I go about things. And I can kind of show you guys, like when I had my little book, if you've been watching my vlog for a while. So I have this little book, and inside of it, I have all of these plans that pretty much go along with the units that I teach. So I have the plans already kind of set out that say, okay, well, here's the first lesson that I would do. And then naturally you would go and do the next thing. And then there's a natural flow to the way that you teach and to the way that you introduce content. So once you have that kind of mapped out every day, you can take that map that you've then created, kind of sketch it into your teacher planner, which is what I've been using. I sketch it into my teacher planner and say, okay, we're going to do lesson this. I'm going to review this with this group. Oh, this group isn't ready to do that. So I'm going to stick with them and maybe try a different strategy with them. And it works out perfectly for me. So every day I kind of look at where they are and I take them where they need to go next. But I do have some type of a unit plan already like set up and printed out and ready to go so that I can always go back and refer to it. I am enjoying my summer. You know, I got a question of, I hope you're taking some time off and enjoying your summer. I promise you I am enjoying my summer. I got a house. I'm excited. It is a ton of work, but yeah, I'm having a great summer. It's been great. It's been busy. I've been very busy. What is your biggest tip for someone like me who is in college studying early childhood education? My biggest tip for you, this is called wait time. Since if you haven't learned that yet, wait time means that you got to give the person time to think. So it's about 5 or 10 seconds. Okay. So I have my biggest tip for you. If you weren't in college, I want you to enjoy college. Now, I am going to say that when I went to school, I was a lot older and I already had my first son. So my experience for college was a little bit different because I was way more focused than I was when I was younger. When I was younger, I didn't go to school a lot. I actually skipped school a lot, and I got myself into a lot of trouble. And I had lots of zeros, and it was just not a good experience. But when I went back, I was very, very focused. I kind of stuck to myself, which I do that anyways now. I stick to myself and I just study. I work really hard, but I try to absorb everything. I went home and I looked up things on the internet. I would go out and I kind of took that initiative of, okay, you're teaching me this, but I want to know more about it. I want to be better about it instead of what this textbook is giving me, because there's not just one way. There's a lot of ways when it comes to education. So I would take what they were telling me and then I would go out and look at more information and try to pick up more things so that I could come back and feel a little bit more prepared for that. So I think that's my biggest tip, is don't just look at that one resource that professor is giving you. There is an internet worth of resources out there that are amazing. So definitely just kind of keep your eye open on that, but soak up everything that you possibly can. And just know that college is not going to prepare you as much as you think it's going to prepare you. Nothing will prepare you until you actually kind of jump in and get into the field. That's when you're going to start feeling like, oh, I can do this. So that's my biggest tip for you. Do I miss kindergarten? I do. I do miss kindergarten. But you know, I'm very, very excited about what I have coming up with the multi-age classroom, because I get to have all of the things that I missed about kindergarten. Because the things that I missed about kindergarten was not just the age, which I do miss the age, but because I have that age at home, y'all, I'm good to go. Like I have my young kid at home that I get plenty of. So it wasn't just the young kids that I missed. It was the science and the social studies and the hands-on and the math and the, you know, the reading. I missed all of that. I missed being able to teach everything and being able to tie things, because I feel like there's a huge value and and it's so important for us to show kids the connections that we make while we're learning things. That while I'm doing this in reading, well, there's a reason why I'm teaching you this in reading, because you're going to use it in science and you're going to use it in social studies, or, you know, I'm teaching you in this in math because you're going to use this when you do this in the real world. I like to be able to see those connections. And with us having the multi-age classroom, we're really going to be able to do that. So we've had, you know, talks about getting the kids to be able to write the grants, to be able to do the garden that we're going to have. So like that, I think is super, super cool. And I think the kids are going to really enjoy that. And y'all, we live in, that's right. You tell them to go away, go away. But so like to be able to make a garden, and we live in a really big like farm area. I've seen some big machines that I have never seen in my whole life. Like these are crazy big machines, but to be able for them to be able to see that and like relate what it is that we're doing at school to, oh my gosh, you know, look at these people. This is what they're doing and I'm learning how to do it. It's huge. I think it's a big, huge, it's a wonderful impact that we're going to have on kids. So I'm excited about that, which is what I did a lot in kindergarten. So I'm going to get a little bit of it. All right, let's see. What is the best elementary grade to teach and why? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, if you are wanting to be a teacher, or I've always wanted to say this, and I don't think I've ever said this before, but if you are wanting to be a teacher, or you were in school to be a teacher, I have some really, really, really sad news for you, okay? Because I have so many people that say, oh, I want to be a kindergarten teacher. Oh, I want to be a fourth grade teacher. Oh, I want to be this teacher. You don't get to pick. I'm sorry. Like you get the grade range, you know, like your degree says K through 4 or K through 6, but you don't really get to pick what grade you get to teach. You get what you get and you don't pitch a fit. That's kind of how it goes. Because they really, honestly, like you take whatever they give you. And when your principal says, I move you, then you move or you don't have a job. Like it is what it is. So, I'm a K through 6th grade and I love it all because I love kids and I love teaching and I love being able to see the connections, and each grade has its benefits. It has its, you know, its cons and its benefits, and you know, you take it for what it is. So All right, let's see. Will you use a strategy from the Ron Clark Academy? Oh, I've been using all kinds of strategies from the Ron Clark Academy. I am all about it. I stand on tables, which my kids think that that's hilarious. And if I ever need to get their attention and they're acting cray, I will stand on top of the tables and I will say, hey, are you listening to me? Hey, I'm your teacher. Hi, how are you? And they think it's the most hilarious thing on the face of the planet, but I get their attention really, really quick. Some other things that I really felt like I really wanted to use was I started incorporating a lot of my students being able to do the teaching. So after I would teach a strategy for a little bit, the students actually got to take my place as a teacher, and they got to stand up and they got to instruct the class or the small group. Then the classmates who were standing there were giving feedback. And a lot of, I remember when I asked Ron Clark, told Ron Clark about that's what I wanted to start implementing right away. He kind of talked to us a little bit about how he approached it. And he says, in the very beginning, when I was doing it, I would say, hey, on a scale from like 1 to 10, how do you think I did as a teacher? Was I engaging to you as a teacher? On a scale of 1 to 10, did you understand my lesson? Or could I have been a little bit more enthusiastic? Like that kind of stuff. So I started doing that a little bit more. And my kids were like, oh, I'm a little nervous if I rate you a bad number. But, I made a point to get them to be involved in my teaching and get them to be able to see some of the things that I was doing. Because let me tell you, the moment that I started using my hands and I started walking around, I had little girls who were doing the exact same thing. They were trying to stand up and they were trying to use their hands. They were trying to walk around, and it was the cutest thing ever. So super circus. That is definitely the strategy that I'm going to keep by far. So, how's everybody doing? Y'all ready for the beginning of the school year yet? You getting ready? Let's see. Ooh, okay. Flexible seating is new to me, and I'm teaching a combined class of grade 4 through 5. Tips, please. Do what works best for you. Like, you don't have to incorporate every single type of seating there is out there. You definitely don't do that, because then you're going to lose your mind. I would pick certain things little by little and introduce things little by little. I wouldn't say, hey guys, here's this classroom. We have standing desks. We have bar stools. We have, ball chairs. We have bean bags. We have couches. Here's it all. Everybody's going to have a good time. You get to pick wherever you want to sit. Go. Because as soon as you do that, those kids are going to go crazy and they're not going to respect your belongings. I feel like 4th and 5th graders, y'all, they were more destructive than my kindergartners. And I told them that. I said, you know what? My kindergartners did not mess up my furniture the way that you guys mess up my furniture. So I would introduce things little by little. You know what I mean? I would do 1 or 2 different things. Make sure you really talk about it. Make sure you model how you're going to be, how to use it. And whenever you're starting to have those problems where, students are, because they're going to do it, they're going to run in and they're going to try to get to the seat before everybody else gets to the seat. If somebody else gets there, and then they're going to start a little cat fight inside of your room. You automatically sit everybody down and you need to go through it and talk about it, because they're going to keep on doing it. I promise you. So little by little, and then introduce what is best for you. Like at the beginning of the year, I don't know if you guys remember, but at the beginning of the year, I had those balls. Yeah, I got rid of those. I'm never going to bring those back. Not going to happen. All right. So how do I structure my literacy block? So this previous year, I did a little bit differently. With my partner, we had a kind of flow schedule. So the kids had a list of targets they had to complete for the day. So depending on what kind of group they were in, what area that they were learning in, everybody kind of had a little bit of a different target. And I kept that very specific to their groups. So they had a list of targets that they had to complete, and they had to complete it by the end of the day. They had to have it turned in, that type of thing. And I would pretty much put out their schedule. So they would know exactly when they would have certain lessons with me, and they would know exactly what lessons they had with my partner. And from that point, they were able to kind of go in and out of our classroom freely. So some of the things that I wanted to make sure that I incorporated into my literacy block was that they had to have small group. We had our read aloud, and then they also had to have their own reading, like independent reading. And then I wanted them to respond to reading in some way, shape, or form. And typically it could have been with like something that they did in small group. They were practicing a strategy that they were doing, but I didn't want to overload them. Y'all, I feel like so often we overload our kids with so much work that it's ridiculous. Like, we just need to let them read. Like, they don't have to do all of these fancy hootenanny things. We don't need to do all this cute stuff because you found it on TPT. Like, just let them read. They just need to be able to experience reading and really learn how to grow a love for that reading. And at the beginning of the year, y'all, they're going to see me on the floor right there next to them, and they're going to see me reading a book right there next to them, and they're going to see the emotions. I've cried over a book in front of my kids because I wanted them to see that passion that I had for a book. I wanted them to see what it was like to be a reader, which a lot of kids, a lot of days they don't see that. So I don't try to fill a bunch of stuff. And even when I was in kindergarten, I didn't give them a bunch of stuff to do. We didn't have all this like rotations and this and that. I just wanted them to read, and it was hard in the beginning. I'm not going to say it was easy. It was hard, but y'all, kindergartners can sit and read. Like, they don't have to have something that they're constantly doing at every second of the day. You don't have to have a craft up every single day. You don't have to have all these crazy fun printables and you spending hours and hours and hours of cutting lamination to make all these cute little things. You don't have to do it because they just need to be able to experience the love of reading. So that's going to be the biggest thing. Focus. Yes. Read. Why did you decide to have a MAC team? So very good question, Sarah. And by we, I mean the two teachers that I am partnering with and myself were in my room one afternoon, and we had just finished with our parent conferences, and we all work really well together. Like, it is amazing how well we work together, and we all don't agree on everything. Like, please don't think that we, all three of us agree on everything, because we don't. We have to, compromise and deal with certain things and, kind of hash things out just like everybody else. But we were sitting around the room one day and we said, you know what, wouldn't it be cool if we could just teach, the way that we want to teach and be able to have it as like, real world experiences for them to be able to really see how that they're going to apply things, because I feel like they're not getting it. I think we were at that point in that time of the year, we were frustrated because we felt like the kids they weren't getting anything out of it. They weren't understanding it. And we were so often like, why aren't they getting this? Why aren't they understanding this concept? I don't understand why they're not doing this. I've been beating my brains out trying to get them to understand this, and they're still not understanding it. And we were sitting around, we were just kind of talking. We were like, you know what? It's because they're not seeing the importance of it. They're not seeing the value of it. We're not making it interesting for them. We're not, bringing in those real world experiences. We're not making it fun. Like, I feel like it was there was nothing there. They just kind of got into this like robotic mode of just, here it is, this is what I'm doing. And you're always going to have those kids who love to read. You're going to have those kids who hate to read. But I wanted them to see that the skills that I was teaching, and this is more focused on the skills, but the skills that I was teaching them within my small group time, I wanted them to see how truly important it is and how it can relate to what they're going to be doing later on in the future. So we came up with, I already taught project-based learning. So I was kind of explaining the idea of project-based learning. And then we had some district changes within our district, and we had some teachers who ended up moving. And we have vertical teams. So one of our vertical teams got cut in half. And we said, you know what, this would be a really great opportunity for us to be able to do this because we're losing a vertical team. And we went to our principal and we gave him the idea. We pitched it to him. We had a big presentation. We talked through it. We gave him all of our ideas and we did it. So now we're going to apply it hopefully and do a really good job. Let's cross our fingers. All right, let's see. Oh, thanks you guys for all the birthday wishes. You are so sweet. How did you create your unit plans? Really, really good question. So, Melanie, here's what I did. I sat down and I pretty much just thought about how I would approach things in reading. And really at the very beginning, a lot of the times, the very first thing that you want to talk to kids about, and the way that I teach it too, I'm sorry, I'm going to back up just a little bit, but the way that I teach is I teach by genres. That way that I can explicitly teach the elements of each genre, and then the kids can have a better understanding of how they're going to approach that reading. So for instance, the way that you approach realistic fiction is going to be a little bit different than the way that you approach historical fiction. Historical fiction is going to be a little bit different than the way that you approach, traditional literature. It's all a little bit different because you want to focus on things differently. Whereas in realistic fiction, you're going to focus more on the problem and the solution. In historical fiction, you're going to focus on that setting because the setting is going to drive the characters. Traditional literature, you're going to really focus on some of those the fairy tale elements, looking for sevens, looking for threes, looking for good versus evil, that type of thing. So I focus on the genre, and then from there I take them into, okay, well, here is what good teaching, here's what reading this would look like. Here's how I would be thinking about the text and tagging my text and writing things down as I'm reading. And then slowly but surely I'd pull out another one. But y'all, let me tell you, when I teach, I will focus on one thing for the whole week. I don't try to give them too many things at one time, because the moment that I do that, they're not going to know where to focus. So I really focus on my I can statements and taking it down to the smallest element possible, and then really focusing on that and showing them different strategies for it. So I may have a skill, I may have 10 strategies for the skill, and then that's kind of how I take it. But I use a lot of different things. So I will use Lucy Calkins. I will use the Reading and Writing Strategies book. I will use Leaders of Their Own Learning, which is a phenomenal book. Lots of other different texts. Oh, this is a good one, y'all. 1-to-1. Good for conferencing if you need a good conference book. There you go. See, I got some of my books here. But I will use a lot of those different things, and those will actually help me with planning things out. But I will tell you, when I first started doing those unit plans, the moment that I had them all typed up, I would realize, oh, poop, I should have gone back and did this. So I would have to retype them and add in more information. So the very first year that you're doing it, just kind of handwrite it and just kind of write things down on how you would naturally flow through something. And if you get to a certain point, you're going to be like, oh, bless, I need to, go back and teach this. Definitely write that down. So just report them. Y'all just ignore them. Haters gonna hate. They are not affecting me at all. I'm not stressed out about them. Do not worry. Let's see. What read alouds am I planning for this year? Okay, so let me tell you guys about my read alouds, because I love my read alouds. I don't know exactly which ones I'm going to plan yet. I have a book list of my read alouds that I want to do, but because I have some of the same kids that I had from last year in my class, I can't do the read alouds that I did last year, because they've already heard it. They already have those lessons. Now, I could definitely do them again, because we would approach them differently and be able to apply these skills that they're learning from a 5th grade level there, because 4th and 5th grade level standards are different. So I could definitely do that, but I just don't want to bore them. So I think I'm going to start having a 3-year cycle of read alouds. So this last year was my first year, so I'm going to have to come up with some new ones. But here's what I'm planning. And you guys let me know if you like this idea, because I was kind of I don't know if people are going to like this. But I was planning on, and I've already started one with Fish in a Tree, because Fish in a Tree was by far one of my favorite read alouds from this previous year. I loved it so much. And I would always start with a realistic fiction read aloud at the beginning of the year. So if you're looking for one, this may be a really good one for you. But anyways, so for read alouds, what I started doing was I started going through and I'm kind of writing my notes, and I'm writing down questions for each of the chapter, and I'm creating exit tickets, so that because I would actually have my kids complete an exit ticket, and then they would have to turn that into me, so that I can kind of gauge the level of comprehension on a bigger text. Because typically when I teach within a small group, I teach with my picture books versus chapter books. So I wanted to see how they would apply it to a chapter book, and I would give them exit tickets so that they would have to go and write their answers, so that I can kind of gauge their comprehension. I'm making that for the store. So you guys let me know if you're interested in something like that. But it has a list of questions for each chapter. And then after each chapter, there's going to be a range of different exit tickets that you could give out to your kids, just have them printed, ready to go so that you can you don't have to do it on the fly. I had to do things on the fly, and y'all know when we do things on the fly and we don't think it through, sometimes it's good and sometimes it fails really bad. And I cannot tell you how many times I've failed really, really bad. So that's what I'm planning, but I do have some good ones planned. I definitely want to do, The Wild Robot, right? Is a wild robot. It is, that is it. I definitely want to do that one. It's a good book. So, how do you deal with stress that come with teaching and maintaining the teacher school and mom home? Ooh. You guys can ask my husband on that because I don't do a very good job with it. I cry and I freak out. I don't do the best of jobs with it. I've gotten a little bit better over the years. This past year was a little bit of a struggle for me, but not so much for like the stresses of life, but more as like, it was because it was just a really hard year for me. This past year is a hard year for me moving and getting used to the demographics of my new school, because I came from a very different school, and then dealing with fourth grade, which fourth grade had lots of different attitudes, and they're just going through, they're going through totally different things at that age. Poor kids. Y'all, have you ever figured out like what your kids developmentally and what's the word I'm looking for? Like what is going on in their head during different age levels? Poor 9 and 10-year-olds. They are stressed out. They are worried about everything. They are like a ball of a hot mess. And when you learn about where your kid, the book is called Yardsticks. It just came to me. But if you go and look up the book Yardsticks will tell you exactly where those kids are developmentally, like what's going on in their head, how are they physically. 9 and 10-year-olds are going through so much. Poor little babies. Like when you read and really find out what's going on with them, you just feel so bad with them. So when they're sitting there and they're crying for no good reason over whatever, and they're like freaking out because this hurts them and you see nothing, you're like, oh, you poor baby. I feel so bad for you because you're just going through a whole hot mess of a mess. I don't remember being that way, but I mean, it's totally possible. So, tips for classroom decor. So some of my tips for classroom decor, I would say first you would want to pick your theme. So in our case we did books. So books take you to different places because our kids are going to be going through different rooms. We wanted to say books take you, to all different places. Books will take you to the past, which is your historical fiction piece. Books will take you to the future, which is your science fiction piece. And then books will take you to places that you can only imagine in your dreams, which is your fantasy piece. So we have a fantasy room, a historical fiction, and then a sci-fi room. And we thought that would be really cool for them so that we, instead of saying you're going to go to this person's room, you're going to go to this person's room, now we can say you're going to go to the sci-fi room, you're going to go to the, historical fiction room. So once you have that, then come up with your color scheme. I had to play off of the colors that were in our rooms because our cabinets are all weird colors. Like one's maroon, one is salmon, one is blue. So it worked out really well for us because the blue room is the sci-fi room. The maroon room is the historical fiction room, and the salmon room is our fantasy room. That was the room that I was in previously. So once you have that, pick out your color scheme. I would do 3 colors, 2 that are your more major colors, and then 1 is more of your accent, and then start looking for pieces that you can kind of play off of it. We go onto Facebook Marketplace and try to find a lot of different and unique pieces to put into play. We will go on Craigslist and look for things, in y'all garage sales, like check out those garage sales because you can find some really great things that you can definitely add into your room that can play really nicely off of it. So looking for some of those pieces that just kind of fit to what you're looking for. Let's see. Do you have the freedom to create your yearly plans and units, or are you following your district's pacing guides and lesson plans, tweaking them? So I am actually on the curriculum rewrite for this year, and we started coming up with like pacing guides. But the wonderful thing about our pacing guides that we're coming up with, and I'll tell you, like last year I had nada. I had nothing. I had no pacing guide. I had nothing. I literally was coming up with things off the top of my head, which was like, as a first year teacher, I couldn't even imagine going into the position that I was in and not having taught before. At least I had like a really good understanding of, oh, this is what I'm gonna do first. This is what I'm gonna do second. I had nothing, y'all. But I had some really, really amazing teachers that were on like my team, my hall that I was working with, and they helped guide me during the first little bit. And then once I kind of started understanding where the kids were going, then I was able to come up with my own things. But to answer your question, since I'm on the curriculum rewrite, we kind of came up with a pacing guide. But the wonderful thing about our pacing guide is that our pacing guide can fit into the units that the way people like to fit them into. So my pacing guide will fit into my genre units that I like to teach. But the pacing guide can also fit into Lucy Calkins units if you're teaching it the Lucy Calkins way. So we are able to tweak it, and we have all the freedom in the world to tweak it to be able to fit our students' needs, which is such a wonderful thing about my district. Like, I would not ever want to switch out of my district. I mean, they are absolutely amazing because they support teachers and they trust us, and they give us a lot of freedom to be able to make those choices for our kids. So it's really good. It's beneficial. Morning message questions. Where do you get them? So I'm assuming you're talking about the morning messages that I put on the whiteboard. So since I have like a kindergarten heart, because I first started teaching in kindergarten, I like to do alliteration stuff. I'm all about the alliteration life. So I try to come up with anything that goes for that day. So motivational Monday, mindset Monday, make me smile Monday. Like, I will try to come up with anything that goes along with like some type of an alliteration. I will Google it. Tuesday morning message boards, or I will just come up with whatever like hits me, or if we have some type of a theme that's going on that week, like if we have some type of a party, if we have some big, announcement, if it's like we're having a pride meeting or something to that extent, I will put those onto the board, and those will kind of take its place. But y'all, Google is amazing. It has all kinds of ideas. People on the internet are smart, so I just kind of go with what they have. Yes, Misfit on TBT does have some awesome morning messages. I definitely like to try to keep my morning messages to fit my kids. So I don't know. I try to keep it to fit more them. So like if I know that they're having issues with something, I will put that on my morning message, and I'll say, that's what we're going to talk about, because this is what the issues that we're having and we need to talk about it. So it always kind of fits to what the things that I'm seeing with them. Tell us about this year's planner I bought last year's. Okay, so this year's planner, y'all, let me go ahead and tell you. I worked really hard on it. It is editable. Now, let me clarify, because I think in a vlog, I said it was totally editable. Y'all, it ain't totally editable. Nothing is totally edible in life. And if it is, then they're the bomb.com. But so here's what it is. You are able to edit, not the dates or anything that I've put in there, but you're able to add your text. I think that's the piece that's the editable part, is that you're able to add your own text inside of it. You can delete slides. You can add slides. Oh, I'm so sorry. This sucks for you. I'm so sorry. But you can add slides, you can delete slides, you can move slides around. So that's kind of the piece that's the editable part. I kept somewhat of the same designs, but y'all, let me tell you, when I sit down with these planners, it does not, thank you. But when I sit down to do these planners, I try to do something that I feel is going to fit a teacher's life. I honestly am using this every single day, and I want to make sure that it is fitting my needs as a teacher. Now, it may not fit every teacher's needs. I don't expect it to, and I'm not trying to definitely make it fill everyone's needs. I fit it for me, and then I tweak it and add a couple of things for other people who may want to enjoy this planner, and then I go from there. So here's kind of what the planner looks like. Here's the front part of it. Y'all, I am a very clean person. I don't like color. I get bored with color very easily. And sometimes I like to be able to, I'm going to answer the bow tie teacher. I'm going to answer your question in just a minute. So you're going to have to remind me in just a minute. But I tried not to have too much color. I don't like to have a lot of color in it. I don't like a lot of little frilly things. I don't, I just cannot handle it. I get bored very quickly. And then like during seasons, I like to be able to add my own color because I want it to like fit the season. So if it's Christmas, I want it to be red and green, and not everybody likes that. And I don't blame them. So I tried to make it fit. I made it very, very simple for you to be able to add whatever you want to add to it. And y'all, I love me some color pens, which I'm going to show y'all my color pens in my video. Sorry, they're all the way over there, so I can't get them. So here's the front page. Everything else is the same. This is one that was actually messed up. So this date is up here. That's wrong. The one that I have printed in this planner right now is incorrect. The one that I have printed over here is the correct version. So that's the one that I'm going to actually put up on the video. But you have the 2017 calendar, 2018 calendar. I like to be able to circle things, and I like to be able to highlight things to show when I have days off so that I can see a yearly version of it. And that just helps me and helps my brain personally. So there's that. And then I did change up the student contact page. If you see that right there, I made them into really long rectangles. Here's some reasons why. Because I didn't have enough space to be able to write things, and I was getting really, really annoyed that I could not write their email correctly. Also, I needed to be able to differentiate between, you know, certain contact numbers, because I would call somebody and I was like, oh, this is the dad, I need to talk to the mom, and it would just never fail. So I made it a little bit different to be able to fit that. And then I also changed it to primary and secondary because not everybody has mamas. Some people have grandmamas, which is absolutely wonderful, and bless those grandmamas. I gotta love them. So I did do that. And then I also kept my contact log. The contact log is nothing special. I honestly keep a contact log only because I want to cover my butt 100% of the time. I never want somebody to come over there and tell me that I didn't do something. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I did. Here it is. It's right here. You see that date, and this is what you said. Oh, look, I even followed up with an email, and then here's the email for you. So I always try to cover my butt 100% of the times when it comes to parents. So that's what I do. I kept my contact log, pretty much account information pretty much the exact same, other than the fact that I added other down at the bottom, because I had a few accounts that I realized, oh wait, I have, you know, some type of PIN ID or something. Like, it was ridiculous. So I didn't have space in my old planner to be able to do that. So I did change that on there. Everything else is pretty much the same. I kept, you know, your special dates to be able to put your birthdays. That's pretty much the same, other than me just doing the sorry guys, everybody keeps calling me right now. I do a live chat and I have like 3 phone calls coming in. Meetings and professional development are going to be the exact same as your birthdays. And then I did afternoon transportation the exact same way for your birthdays. And I only have lined paper. So for the notes, it's only lines. I didn't do the grids, so I'm sorry. Sorry guys. The other big thing that I did change to this is your monthly calendar piece right here. Okay. So I kept it pretty simple up here at the top. Like I said, I'm like simple, I'm boring, I'm sorry. But then I added 3 different sections. One is going to be your goal. So your monthly goal that you have for it. The second one is your projects, and the third one is your tasks. So if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I am all about Getting Things Done by David Allen, who is phenomenal, who goes along and tells you about productivity and being able to make sure that you're planning your day to its fullest. So I will talk more about planning and how I'm actually using this sheet to be able to help me plan. I took off the birthdays and I took off the special dates only because I wasn't writing it here. I was actually writing it on the spread. So there's that piece to it. The spread is pretty much the exact same. There's nothing special to it. You have a spot for notes. I kept them, you know, square, simple, but I also did that because I know a lot of people like to be able to use stickers that you can be able to find at all the stores. You should be able to use those now with this planner and the sizes. So there's that piece to it too. And then this is the vertical layout, but you also have a horizontal layout. Now, both the vertical and the horizontal layout that I have lines with them. So you can choose to get them with lines or without lines. You get all 4 different versions in your download, so you can get both of them. But this is the vertical one. Here I would put the week. Here you can add in all of your groups that you want to do, or if it's subjects, however you choose to do it. I left a big space up here only because I really like to be able to add in like the special things that are happening. If I have some type of an assembly during that time, if I have, you know, a meeting that I need to go to, I write it down right underneath it. And then this is the space for the actual writing for the planner. What's nice, again, y'all, it's editable. You could type in it, which is so phenomenal. And then I really like the lines on the very on the very side. So it works out perfect. But that's really about it. There's nothing much more special than that. You do get a checklist. So yeah, there's the planner. So I needed to answer the bow tie teacher, right? Bow tie teacher. I'm pretty sure that was you. Yes, I think so. Anyway, so he asked me, how do I deal with haters? So y'all, you gotta shake it off. Shake it off. You know what I mean? So I try to ignore people like as much as I can. Like, you're going to have it at school. You're going to have it everywhere you go. And I have my moments where it really hurts. Like, it sucks and it stinks and I hate it and I will cry about it. I'm an emotional person. Did y'all know that about me? Like, I'm a Cancer, so I'm an emotional mess all the time. But I have come to realize that I can't make everyone happy, that I need to do things that's best for me, because I need to worry about me, because if I'm not worried about me, then who is going to worry about me? No one. And then in the end of it, y'all, listen, I don't go to school to be buddy with every single teacher that's there. Okay. I love them and I will respect them and I will do anything that I can to help every single one of them. But I am not there to try to go and be everybody's friend. Let me read this real fast. They say that I do too much, but I do it for the kids. There's no such thing as doing too much when it comes to my, you know, that's right. See, I like the way you think. You're the best. That is so true. But you know, I have that too. People will roll their eyes at me when I do my transformations at school. People will, you know, talk badly about me. People will not say hi to me when I'm out in public. You know, if they are at my school, they won't say hi to me. And I've only had like that occasion like once or twice. But listen, I'm not there to be their friends. I'm not there. If that was my whole job, then I would make that part of my job. But you know what? I am there to be a teacher. I am there to take care of my kids, to teach my kids, to do my best for my kids, because that is my job. My job is not to be a BFF with the person down the hall with me. Okay, that is not it. So I just, at one point, I'm just like, I'm sorry. You know, it is what it is. Like, you're going to hate. And y'all, I close my door and I just kind of move on with my day. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, bye, have a good day. And I leave. Like, I don't try to have conversations with them at all. You know what I mean? Because at the same time, if you have like your big, huge buddies, which I actually do with this with my partner and teacher, which is really bad, but we will sit and we'll talk during my break time and y'all get nothing accomplished. So sometimes it's okay to just close your door and just kind of stick to your job and just do your job and focus on your kids and focus on what you're doing in that room versus focusing on what you're doing with other teachers around you. Not to mean that I'm not going to try to be as nice as I can, because I will be so nice to every single one of those teachers in that building. I will love every single one of them. And like I said, I will do anything for them to help them. But again, they're not my focus. It is what it is. The focus are the kids. Like, I will high five kids. I will fist bump kids. You know, kids that I don't even have, I've never had at all. Don't even know who they are. Don't even know their names. Will come and high five me and say hello, because they know that I care about them. You don't have to be in my room. I care about you, the kids, because that is what I'm here for. So there you go. Hope that answers your question. I'm so glad. Bow tie teacher, you and me, we're like right there. Friendships do come with teaching, but good ones are natural. Yes. Amen. Absolutely. Let's see. I'm looking at for another question. Does anyone have suggestions for first year teacher reads? Definitely read Reading in the Wild, right? That is the book. Donna Lynn Miller. Look her up. She's phenomenal. Definitely check out the Reading and Writing Strategies book. Definitely check out the Leaders of Your Own Learning book. Another phenomenal read. Anything by Lucy Calkins is pretty good. If you're teaching kindergarten for writing, check out the Talking, Drawing, and Writing book, which is phenomenal, especially at the beginning of the year. If you need some ideas what to do with those younger babies, definitely check those out. Let's see. Do you believe in assigning homework? No. Sorry, I don't. Mainly because of the demographics that I teach in. So I'm not going to try to struggle with a lot of these babies who don't have the support they have at home and get them to try to turn something in. First of all, I need to make sure that what I am teaching them is going to be, that they're working on it. Now, if they're not getting it and I need them to practice a little bit more, I will sit down with them and say, hey, listen, I understand that this is really hard for you, but I really need you to go home and try to do a couple of problems. Like at the very end of the year when I was doing a little bit of math, I didn't give everybody, division, but there were a couple of kids who definitely just needed to have a couple of other problems to do. They just needed that extra practice. And so I would send mom an email. Hey, just want to let you know, so-and-so is doing this and seeing things. They're working really, 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 really hard. If you will just please take 5 minutes just to work on like 5 problems with them. I wrote them down, told them they had to turn it in tomorrow. Thank you so much. And then I would send them the email and I would write them their little problems. I'm like, listen, I really believe in you. And I know that you are this close to getting it. You're so close. I just want you to go home and I just want you to do these problems. Bring them back to me tomorrow. And y'all, they would come in, they would have this big old smile on their face and they'd say, here you go. But I didn't do it for every single kid because not every single kid needs that. Why are we assigning homework to every single kid? Because I guarantee you, not every single kid in your classroom is going to need it. You need to focus on the individual student and really tailor the education to them. I know it sounds hard, but it's not as hard as what you think, because y'all, there are a bunch of those who fly and they do such a great job and you never have to worry about them. You just push them and you keep moving them. But there are a couple of them that you just need to kind of baby them and nurture them. And, it's that little baby chick, the one that just is too small that came out and you're just wanting to coddle it and just take care of it and hold it. And, that's kind of what you have to do with your kids. Oh, thank you for saying I'm the best teacher. I'm really not. How do you manage parents who linger in the classroom? I don't really have a ton of parents at this school y'all, I'm drinking coffee at night. I don't have a ton of parents at this school that come into the room and just kind of hang out, just because of our security issues and that type of thing. But in my previous school, parents could come in whenever they felt like it. So during those times, I would just give them things to do. Hey, can you go read with this group? Can you go do this? Can you go do this? And a lot of the times I would just simply give code words to my partners that were across the hall. And I'm like, I'm just going to pretend that somebody's texting me and, oh, so-and-so, can you come and please save me? So there are ways, put them to work, give them something to do. A lot of the time, some of those parents that come in and are there, it's because they mean well, they want to do well, they want to be with their kids, but give them something to do. Have them go read with somebody, have them go play a game with somebody. That kid who that does not get any attention at home, have them take their child and that kid and go sit over there in that corner or outside in the hall and do some things with them and give them a little bit of extra love and attention. So, or a lot of the times I would have them come in and then I would give them copying and lamination to do or things like that. But a lot of the times I just love to have those parents in there just to be able to do some things with those kids because they just needed that extra love and attention. And what a better way to do that with parents who want to give that extra love and attention to kids. So hope that answers your question. Do you ever provide students with clothing, food, hygiene projects? Yes, absolutely. Typically our guidance counselor will do it, but a lot of the times, I know my partner and I have contributed like money and things like that to be able to help support some of our kids and making sure that they're being taken care of. So absolutely, I would do anything for them. They're my world. I would do anything for them. How do you feel with parents who aren't involved in their child's education? What about helicopter moms? So, I don't judge. I just don't. I can't. You know what I mean? I will tell you guys that, and I'm going to be totally transparent and totally honest with all of you, okay? I was that mom when my son was born, my older son, Ian. But when he was born, I was working 2 jobs. I was going to school. I was a teacher, and then I was working a part-time job, and I struggled a lot. So I wasn't as involved with his education and things that he was doing and getting him into all kinds of stuff as I should have been, but mainly because I was struggling so hard just trying to have a life and take care of us. So, you know, I did my best, and I try not to judge parents because you never know the situation, the circumstances, what's going on at home. You never know what's happening behind the scenes. I try to help them as much as I possibly can. And I will tell parents that, listen, I'm here to help you. I'm here to, you know, do whatever I can to help you and, you know, your family and your child, because that's part of my job. You know, I don't only just do the teaching part of it. I also am, you know, the emotional and the social and all the other needs that come into play. So I try not to judge. Helicopter parents, I mean, hey, let them be helicopter parents. That is their baby. You are taking care of their child, and they definitely have the right to be a helicopter parent. Like, that is somebody's little human, and ooh, just can't even handle it. I don't judge. Are you going to change how you manage your classroom? Behavior system, rotations, consequences, rewards, since you will be having some of the same kids? Not really. The way I teach is the way I teach. I and my kids know that, and like I will, you know, they need to be respectful of me, and they all know that I like to have a good time, and I like to laugh, and I like to be fun, and I like to do fun things. But they also know that, ooh, when Miss Backman says something, you either do it, because the moment that you don't do it, it gets taken away, and that's the way it is. So no, nothing's going to change. Everything's going to pretty much stay the same because this is who I am as a teacher. I don't know if I could really change much of like who I am as a teacher. It is what it is. Like I'm loud as all get out. So I've just kind of learned to deal with it. Do you prefer the disc bound over the ring bound? I definitely prefer the disc bound, mainly because you get to do this. Look. Mine got stuck. Y'all don't judge that. Okay, look at that. It's a spiral bound. It's the best thing ever. Best thing ever. I would never, ever, ever switch. I have this one, and then I have a smaller, the A5 planner that I use for like my everyday life. This is just mainly for teaching, but I have a smaller version that's the A5 version that is also on the ring bound, the arc system. So it's phenomenal. I love it. I will never, ever, ever switch back. Unless they like get rid of it, which would be such a sad day. What do you do for storage for the kids' things using flexible seating? So, great question. I am going to have to do mailboxes. And we went back and forth because at the beginning we wanted to have mailboxes that were inside of the fantasy room, which is going to be like the Great Hall. Okay, so just think of fantasy as the Great Hall room, like in Harry Potter. So we're going to have mailboxes in there, and we were going to have the kids be able to put their folders and things like that in there. But y'all, apparently I am like, out of the three of us, I am the like OCD teacher. It is what it is, but I cannot handle having things out. I don't like the kids to be carrying a huge pile of things, especially if they're not using it. In my head, I'm like, you don't need that iPad. You're reading in a book. Why do you have your iPad out? Somebody's going to step on it. Or why do you have 3 books with you? You only need 1. Like, so those types of things just drive me nuts naturally. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have, each of the 2 rooms, not the Great Hall room, but the, I am a strict teacher, but the historical fiction room and the sci-fi room are both going to have mailboxes, and in those mailboxes that's where they're going to be able to put some of their things, but we're not going to have a ton of stuff for them. I mean, like I said, I try to simplify it. Y'all, the more things that you throw there, the more things that you give them, the more opportunities that they're going to have in order to just like mess up. So true. I am loving. I try to be very loving. But the more opportunities you're going to give for them to be able to mess things up. Simplify it. Simplify your life. Simplify their lives. Try not to give them way too many things. So, oh, I just saw this. Do you let them use fidget spinners? Y'all, my 3-year-old has a fidget spinner. He's really good at it. No. So they were banned from our school. They can use them on the school bus, but they were banned. There is nothing about, like, I don't even understand how it helps children who have like ADD or ADHD. I just don't understand how it helps them in any way, shape, or form. But I have other tools for them to use. So no, we don't let them use it. It stays in their backpack or it gets taken away. That's the way it is. How are the other two rooms going to work? So we have the Great Hall, which is my old room. And that's going to be like the main meeting room. That's where we're going to have all of the kids in there together. That's where they're going to meet with their houses. And that is where we're going to give like big, quick, like 10-minute lessons, or maybe read aloud, depending on how we're going to be doing it. And then the other two rooms are going to be the actual working rooms. Those are going to be the rooms that we're kind of in. And they're big. They're huge rooms, way bigger than the one that I had last year. So the kids are going to get split up into those rooms, and every day their calendar is going to be posted into the Great Hall. So they're going to walk into that big room, which is the Great Hall. They're going to be able to put their backpacks away, which we have 4 closets in the back. So each closet is going to be a house, and they're going to put their things away. They'll be able to look at the schedule that's going to be posted up there for them. And then that's where they're going to figure out where they're going to have to spend the majority of their time. So they'll be split into those 2 rooms to be able to get their work done. So, let's see. At what age did you begin to teach full time? What was your brightest struggle as a new teacher? So I started a little bit older because of some decisions I made in life. I was 26 when I first started teaching. 26 or 27, 26, 27, somewhere around there. 26 or 27 was when I first started teaching. And I think the biggest struggle was learning how to manage my time. I tried to do it all, and I tried to be the best at everything I wanted to be. And I needed to learn that I can't do everything, and I have to learn how to take a step back and say, all right, I'm going to stop and I'm going to spend time with my family, or I'm going to spend time and do this, because I'm one person that once I get an idea in my head, y'all, it's really hard for me to get away from it. And I want it done. Like, do you see this tape over here? I really wanted a desk right here. Like, I want a built-in desk, and I've had this in my head that I started taping it off and creating measurements, but I had to learn that, wait, I have like 15 other projects that are going on in the main floor that I just can't do right now. So that's kind of, that was my biggest struggle for me, was learning how to say, thank you, I'm going to build that desk. Better, y'all, I'm going to tell my husband to build that desk. But that's how it's going to roll. Let's see. Are you going to incorporate the Essential 55? Yes. Only there's some things that really don't fit for us because, we don't have like hotel visits, or we don't, fly, things like that. So I'm going to make it fit for our needs. But yes, we are going to definitely be doing some of those. Thank you guys. You guys are so awesome. Y'all are so sweet. Y'all have some of the sweetest things ever. How do you handle the paper flow and grading, deciding what you actually grade versus what you give complete or incomplete credit? Really wonderful question. So here's the answer to that. We don't actually have report cards. So I don't really have to have grades in my district. We go based off of mastery. So you either master it or you don't. You get it or you don't. So that's kind of how we go. In my little book that I showed you guys earlier that has the units, the kids have their names on there, and it has things for me to be able to check off, and it has little standard spots. So as I'm going through and teaching that standard, those skills that I have for that unit, I will pretty much kind of check them off. Yes, they got it. Nope, they don't get it. And it's basically a lot of me doing observations, so just kind of observing my students during those small groups, looking at some of the work that I send them off to do that they have to bring back the next day, discussions that we're having, exit slips that I do during my read alouds, and then we have different like unit projects that they will be completing during their times for reading and things like that. So that's kind of what I base it off of. For math, they have to take quick checks, so they take a pre-test, they go through the unit, they take a quick check whenever they're ready to move on to the next step of it. So that's kind of how we do it, and we just kind of go from there. So let's see, what time is it, y'all? How late is it? I don't even know what time it is. Somebody tell me the time. Eastern would be great. I don't have a clock in here. Let's see. How do you deal with experienced teachers seeing you as too naive, simply keeping a good relationship with colleagues? again, oh, thank you. Wow, it's late. All right, I'm not going to be answering a ton more. Like I said earlier, I am not there to be everybody's friend. I will be as helpful as I possibly can be. I will offer out help to anyone. I will do my very best to be as 3:13. Why in the world are you up? Oh Lord, I would be so sleepy. Anyway, sorry. So I would offer as much as I can to them and, do anything for them. But at the same time, I'm not there to please them. I'm there to take care of my kids. So I focus more on my kids. Stay out of the gossip. Like Ron Clark says, keep your co-workers out your mouth. Keep them out your mouth. Keep your kids out your mouth. Like, that's literally what he said. I'm not going to joke. But yeah, guys, don't gossip about your coworkers. I know you want to, and I know you want to let off steam, because I have my days when I am angry at them and I am mad at them. Go home, tell your husband, tell your mama, tell your grandmama, but don't tell people at your school. It is none of their business how you feel or how you are starting to feel about the people at your school. You don't need to spread that. You're just infecting people. Like, you're just making it worse. And then at the same time, like, I get it. You're going to have rough days with your kids. I totally understand it. Go home and let it out with your dog, your cat, your grandmama, somebody else, your TV, your pillow if you have to. Like, I don't know, find something. But don't spread it in school. Stay positive. You don't need to have all that out. You don't need to keep putting negativity out in the universe. I had a professor who had this thing. She would always make us come in. She would always make us say a positive saying. So a positive affirmation is what she called them. So we would always have to stand up in class and we would have to say our positive affirmation, because she believed that you needed to put positivity out into the universe. But like, you don't need to keep putting out all the negativity. We all understand that you're going to feel, frustrated. You're going to be upset at people. You're going to, not like things. You're going to disagree with things, but find somewhere else to do it. Don't do it at school. If you want to have a positive relationship with people at school, then you need to be that source of positivity. So I hope that answers your question. All right. Let's see. Oh, so many questions, and I want to answer them all, but y'all, I'm starting to get tired. And iZombie season 3 just came on Netflix, and I kind of want to watch that. Bowtie teacher, last question. How are we going to decide who teaches what? So we're all teaching everything. I think we're going to look at each other's strengths and just kind of take from there. But once we start to figure a little bit more of that out, I will definitely let you guys know. Let's see. Any other questions? I don't know. They're all so good. All right. I'm going to do this last one. Okay, guys. And then I'm done. I'm really, really sorry. So first year, 4th grade teacher, need advice. So my advice for you is so angry. I guess it's going to be for other people on this channel too. But my advice for you is just stay positive. I mean, honestly, like, literally stay positive, take care of yourself. Make sure that you are taking time for yourself, that you are doing things for yourself. But also remember why you are going into this profession. This profession is hard. This profession is mentally and physically exhausting sometimes. And remember that. Just remember why you're doing it. You're doing it because you want to help kids and you want to take care of kids, and you're doing it because you want to be a good teacher. But stay positive. Don't infect people with negativity. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it, y'all. It's not worth it to be negative. It's not worth it to gripe. It's not worth it. Like, it's just not, like, and take time for yourself. Like, don't try to think that you're going to do it all, because you're not going to be able to do it all. Don't try to Don't try to be good at everything. Pick one subject and really focus your attention on that one subject. And the next year add to it. And then the next year add to it. Don't try to do it all, because you are not going to be able to do it all. You are going to exhaust yourself. You're going to burn yourself out. And that's where you really need to also remember to take care of you. So that's my advice for you. I hope that was good advice. So thank you guys for all the birthday wishes. Thank you for showing up. I was really nervous that I was going to have this like birthday chat and then nobody was going to come on and I was going to be all by myself. So thank you so much for joining me on this live chat. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. You guys are amazing. I hope you are all having a fantastic summer. And I promise I will have a teacher planner setup video coming very soon, and you guys will get a sneak peek at my first house this weekend. So have a wonderful, wonderful week. I'm gonna go watch some iZombie. Mwah!